Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Behind Enemy Lines. I know it's been a couple weeks. That's for a couple of reasons. The off season really hasn't started to kick off until fairly recently, so we didn't feel like there was too much to discuss. And we wanted to make sure that if we did something, we got a thick, juicy episode of wrong, and mostly wrong, but sometimes right opinions, and thoughts and all that kind of business. So forgive us as we kind of shake off the cobwebs and the rust a little bit, but I am happy to be here, joined as always by my friends who are also behind enemy lines. Yazzie, the Jets fan, how are you today? Caught him drinking like a true pro. Fuck.
He's opening up, so yeah, I'm in a good mood.
Yeah, I know. This is like we're getting right into your wheelhouse. Like free agency's coming, draft season's around the corner. You're probably about 3/4 mass right now, and I totally get it. I'm also here with Coxie, the Bucks fan, the Super Bowl winner. He had to sell his soul to the devil, quite literally, having Tom Brady as his quarterback to get there, but he did it. So how's it feel? The hangover's over, free agency's starting up. Things are looking a little weird for you guys. How are you feeling today?
Feeling good after the extension today. So
how
that all structure works, I'm feeling pretty good now.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit here, but it's good to see you again. And Mario, Giants by way of Philly, kind of taking our Mid-Atlantic, that's the word. Don't worry about me. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Nobody has to send anybody for me. Everything's good. But how are you today, Unc?
Hello. Good, man. I'm doing good. Good to see you guys again.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks since we were able to get together and really talk football. So I'm very eager for that just at its core. But I'm also eager to get back and get something out for the people who, for some reason, enjoy what we do. Or maybe they just need something to put on in the background at work. Either way, I appreciate you.
Misery loves company.
100%. And who's more miserable than this group of idiots right here? But it is good to see you guys. And as free agency has kind of started to roll around and things are starting to happen, this whole episode's basically going to be general free agency stuff. And so we're going to start with some headlines and then get more into a deep dive of what we think free agency is going to shake out like, because there's a lot of crazy things to talk about. And first and foremost on that list, A, because I'm the host, and B, because so far it's the biggest signing I think of the offseason, I want to talk about J.J. Watt to the Cardinals. And I'll lead because I guess it's my team. I like the signing. I don't like the money, is the kind of short version of everything. I think you right now, Arizona now has the top two sack getters since 2012 on the same team. You can say what you want about JJ and his age, and he didn't really show much last year after playing a full 16-game season, coming off that injury. So, I mean, I think there's a lot to still be seen in terms of his production and what he's going to add. I think part of that might have been his environment, though. We all know Houston has been very, very bad for people in their production, even outside of Deshaun Watson. Nobody who's played there in the last couple of years here has really gone gangbusters. Obviously, when Hopkins was there, like, he's a cheat code, but with how bad, especially last year, that organization just was run, like, if you're an older vet like JJ Watt and you're not like getting the things that you need to be productive, like, you're probably going to perform like he did. I personally think there's still a good bit of tread on those tires. And I think it opens up the question of, like, who are you going to double? You got Chandler on one side, you got JJ on the other. One hand feeds the other. I think no matter what, my like prediction is you're going to see an uptick in production for JJ Watt this year. I feel like you almost have to. I feel like it's almost a given that that's going to happen, but I'm very interested to see. I also think his addition means Chandler Jones is going to have another DPOY like esque season, because you can't pay attention to both of them. One of those guys is going to tear you apart. I mean, again, JJ's age is a bit of a factor. Chandler's only a couple of years behind him, and he's still seen as like a premier guy. So it remains to be seen with the injuries and everything. I'm happy with the signing. I like the culture that Cliff and the GM and everybody's trying to make there. They really like wined and dined him and schmoozed him. And it's like this, it's the antithesis of like the Belichick era. And a lot more coaches are doing that. They're being more player centric, and they're really trying to get people to buy into the organization. in that way because they're being more player focused. So I think it'll be really good for us. I don't know exactly how good. I think it puts us in a weird cap situation, especially with the news that the cap's so much lower. So I don't know how we're going to work around that necessarily, but I think having a leader like him in your locker room, helping the team, it's never a bad thing. At that point, you're paying for the name. So I think it was a calculated risk, and that seems to be Cliff Kingsbury's thing. Let's see how it shakes out. This is a big year for him and Kyler and everybody, as opposed to like, all right, is this experiment going to work? This is going to be crunch time. So I'm eager to see it. I've talked enough about this. So let's go to Jay. What do you think about all this?
Well, at face value, I think this is a great pickup. I think Pro Football Focus had him rated as, when he's lined up as a defensive tackle, he's one of the best, most productive defensive tackles in the NFL the last, I think, like 2 or 3 years, something like that. I think he still has something in the tank. And then he can still pass. Obviously, he can still pass rush. He's never going to lose that ability because he's too talented. I don't like the money. I really don't like the money.
Yeah, same.
You guys overpaid a bit, and I was actually a little shocked given that you guys aren't in. You don't have a plethora of money to spend this offseason, given the cap space, given the cap ceiling and everything with the pandemic. I think it'll be good. Like you said, I think it'll be interesting to see him and Chandler Jones kind of work almost as a tandem because, like you said, who are you going to double team? But the one point I will make is that you said they're the best pass rushing duo since 2012, as far as like both their productions since 2012. I don't. We were freshmen in college in 2012, so he might have fell off a little bit as far as he's not who he used to be. I think we all know that. I think it'll be good. I don't think it's a terrible signing. Like I said, I'm not in love with the money. I think it's a net positive this year. I think you guys might be in trouble down the road because I think it's 2 years and it's 24 million, something like that.
Yeah, so
Close to that.
So let me jump in because you guys are really concerned about the money. The money's actually really not that bad.
Oh, really?
No. So it's a 2-year deal that's for the player, but it's 2 years over 5 because there's 3 void years on the contract. So this year's cap number, he's under 5 million for the cap.
Oh, that's dope. Let's go.
So his base salary for this year is 2.5, and his signing bonus is 12 million, but that's prorated over 12 years. So that's 2.4 million a year. So it helps you a lot this year because his cap number is only 4.9 million. And then next year his cap number is it's 15.9. So it jumps up. But we're going to see the salary cap go up next year anyway with the TV deal and all the money they're going to make this year, hopefully, coming out of the pandemic. So and then after the contract's up, it's only a 7.2 million dead cap.
That's fucking
prorated. So they actually work this contract pretty well. So they still actually have I think they still have 15 million in cap space.
I love that.
Right now, after releasing Rupert Alfred and everything, because that was a 7.5 million cap space savings.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are actually doing pretty well right now.
Yeah.
I guess the main question is fuck the money then, because that's a great deal.
Yeah, you can.
The main question is how much do you think he has left in the tank? I guess.
Yeah.
That's
the question.
I'm gonna jump in real fast for 2 things. One, I meant when I was trying to say what I said, I meant that they are 1 and 2 in sacks since 2012. Like I was
just giving you shit.
Okay. And the other thing, just for reference for everybody, we have designated Cox as like our cap guy, so he's gonna have all this stuff for us. If we're talking out our asses like we just did, I'm hoping he's gonna hit us with the rock bottom and put us in our place.
Yeah. Way more than that. So.
Yeah. So whoever worked that contract out, hats off to him because that's actually fucking dope.
This offseason is going to be like the year of the void years. That's
you stole my thunder on that, Cox, because the cap is definitely going to be it's going to go up significantly next year, and the reason the cap is going to go up is because things are opening up right now. I think it was a great move by Arizona. It was a great move because one. That defense is sexy now. It's must watch.
Yeah,
they're must watch now. You watch the primetime games are going to go up. People are going to want to see that, And you know what? When we've had a down year because of COVID, owners are looking for, listen, can we make our team better? But can we make our team sexy? Can we make our team where people want to watch it? Non-Cardinals fans are going to want to tune in and watch them play. And it's because it's Watt. Listen, the Texans were never really that team, but everybody knows who Watt is. Everybody is always, they want to see what they were going to do. You watch a Texans game, you're watching because it's either Watson or Watt. Nobody else. And when Hopkins was there, of course. But listen, he was the only thing that was really keeping shit going over there. So I think it was awesome. And now Cox, our cap guru, brought that on. I didn't know that. I mean, that's just like a freaking no-brainer. Even if his number goes up next year, it's still a win-win because we're at 180 now. I think it's going to go up to 200 next season. It has to.
I think it could exceed that, honestly.
Of course. Yeah. With the revenues and things are coming back now. I think things are at 50% right now. By the time the season starts and people are all vaccinated, I think we're going to be at 75%, God willing, 100%, and we're all sitting in there watching our teams play. So
that would rule.
To me, if you can get a marquee guy like Watt, who I think still has plenty left in the tank, if he was going to a team where, say, for instance, they really like, if you went to the Giants really don't have any. They don't have any guys there besides Leonard Williams. So you'd be like, well, is Watt, can he do it by himself? Probably not. But listen, Arizona's got some studs on that line already. So all that's going to do is just free up for him. It's just going to be one of those things where it's going to kind of remind me of when Justin Tuck came to the Giants and Umanura was just like, oh, thank you for bringing a guy on the other side that's going to like cause havoc, because now my sack numbers are going to go up. Watt's going to have double-digit sack numbers.
Ooh.
That'll be my shot take.
Ooh, I like it.
Watt has double-digit sack numbers.
Well, that's an end-of-year shot take, so that's a double.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's just my take. I think it's win-win. DT, you're lucky. I think it's a win-win for you and your team and the fan base.
No, I'm super happy to kind of piggyback off that before I put it back out to you guys. I like the points you make about you think he has a lot left in the tank. There are two kind of things that I think behoove JJ Watt coming to us. Three, I guess technically. On the base level, playing in the desert ain't a bad place to play. It's easier on you. There's not that harsh weather, so he's probably going to stay in better physical condition generally for longer than say another player would. Second, a lot of people have a lot of good success in the twilights of their careers coming to Arizona. Kurt Warner, Jake Plummer, Carson Palmer. Frickin', you can even argue Emmitt Smith and Edgerrin James to some extent. They did play well. They had good seasons. Not as great as they once were for the most part, but still very good. So I think there's that optimism, and what I'm hoping, I want to compare this to another great pass rusher of the past with Reggie White. When he moved teams late in his career and had a resurgence and was still that dude for a handful of years in the twilight of his career, I'm hoping for like a Reggie White-esque situation. That's ideal for me. Fingers crossed, where he's like, hey, I ain't done yet. It ain't over for me yet. And ideally, well, he's like, what? Watt's like a 3-time DPOY. Like, he's earned his stripes. He's earned his respect. Yeah.
First ballot. No.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. I'm hoping my pie in the sky dream is that he and Chandler both go double digits next year. That would be like, I'd be so happy. But that is...
It would not shock me at all, honestly.
I'm hoping for that. My fingers are crossed for that. There's some stuff, we'll get into it when we talk about free agency in the offseason. There's some stuff that I'm happy with and not too pumped about with the team and going into what we're doing, but we'll get into that later. But I wanted to make those points about Watt coming to the desert. Anybody else? I didn't want to cut anybody off. Anybody else had more points they wanted to make about Watt or the deal or what it means?
No, not about Watt or the deal. We can get more, like you said, we'll get more into like the team stuff, because I do have questions
Mhm.
with the Cardinals going into next year, but we can get into that.
Oh, me too. Absolutely. So I'm hoping we can have a free and open discussion about that when we get there. Dope. To move on now, I just want to talk about Tom Brady. Weird. Why would we do that on this football podcast? But he restructured his deal like he seems to always do, no matter where he is, to make it more friendly to help the team get more assets and things like that. Cox, you're the cap guy. It's your team, and I'm sure you have the details, so I'm going to let you take the lead on this.
Yeah.
What's the deal?
So the deal is essentially they've extended him for one more year, but most importantly, they've tacked on 3 voidable years onto the back end of the deal. So essentially, they're taking his salary for this year, bringing it down to the veteran minimum, which is $1.075 million, taking the rest of that and giving it to him as a signing bonus. So for him, he gets all that money up front. But what it means for the team is that the team can then prorate that over the life of the contract. So they can divide that up amongst the remaining years. So that saves them for this year $19 million in cap. And after, signing Levante David and putting the tag on Godwin, they now were over the cap. So this gives them extra playing room with the cap to try and hopefully get, Shaq Barrett re-signed. They still have, other people that they have to re-sign as well. So they've got to figure all of that out. But this gives them more flexibility in terms of doing that. So that it was a huge thing for him to, do that. And he's done this over the course of his career. He's fine with giving, restructuring his deal and allowing a team to keep, critical pieces together if it means the team wins overall. Because he knows he's going to get the money eventually. It doesn't matter to him. In this case, he's actually getting more of it up front as opposed to having to wait for, game checks. It doesn't matter to him. So it helps the team out in the long run. The interesting thing, though, is that if you look at, the Bucks in the past, they've been very hesitant with dealing with dead money on the cap. They don't like to do that. They don't like to have a lot of dead money. And that showed again when they initially signed him, because there was no signing bonus. There was roster bonus, and then there was base salary, all of which stays true to the year in which it's designated. You don't prorate that. And with this deal, if he retires at the end of the deal, it's going to be $14 million in dead cap. Or if they decide to not bring him back for the 2022 season, that's $19 million cap. So they're making an exception for Tom because they know, at least with Tom, they're probably going to have another chance at a Super Bowl again. But it's just interesting that for a team that's very, very hesitant with doing that, this is the one exception. But I get it. It's Tom Brady. This is the one guy you make the exception for. So, I love this. It just now falls on Jason Light as to who are we prioritizing. And I think we saw with tagging Godwin that this means that, well, one, that Tom Brady really does have a huge amount of say in the organization because he loves Godwin. But also that it's either Barrett is overpricing himself out of Tampa, or they're trying to make as much cap room just to get him back. But I think it's to the point where Barrett might be overpricing himself out of our market, just because I just don't. And again, unless he's going to do somewhat of a similar deal to where it's very backloaded, and taking a lot of signing bonus up front, I just don't see how it's going to work, which is sad. But at least this gives us flexibility in other positions.
Yeah, I just want to ask you a quick question because I don't think it'll be crazy relevant in our cap talks later in our free agency talks. But just knowing how tight Brady is with AB, how much of this concession do you think was to get them to keep him? Because he does have sway in that organization, and we know for whatever reason how much he fucking loves that guy. Like, do you think this is I'm going to do this for you, now scratch my back and keep my boy?
Potentially, yeah. I think it's pretty much whatever Brady wants he gets at this point. So if Brady really wants them to, to re-sign AB, they'll re-sign AB. I don't know if they need to. I was kind of shocked that they tagged Godwin. I didn't think they needed to. They could have let him walk. They have enough depth at the position, with Evans, Miller, Johnson. If they did bring back AB, they have enough depth at the position to where they didn't need to bring back Godwin. But Brady has such pull that they franchise tagged him. So I would not be shocked if Brady says no, you need to bring back AB, then they'll bring back AB. Yeah, it's pretty much whatever he wants on the offensive side of the ball, he's going to get. And that works. Again, you said it at the beginning, we sold our soul. That's what we've done. Like we built everything else around it. We sold our soul to Tom Brady. Whatever he wants, he gets at this point. And honestly, I'm fine with it. I'm totally fine with that. It makes us relevant. It keeps us relevant, and it keeps him there. So whatever he wants, he gets.
Okay, I'm not surprised by that, but I don't have much to say on the matter. So Unk,
I'm sending out barf bags for everybody. Fucking rhetoric.
I don't know what else to say.
No, it's true though. It's true though. And listen, Tom Brady's the guy you fucking love to hate, but he's the ultimate team player. He really is. How many times has he restructured? Even when he was in New England, he's restructured. What's best for the team? And I know it disgusts me to say it, but it's so true with him. It really is. I mean, he's that team first guy. So, yeah, hate him if you want, but if you want a winner, he's a winner. And I was talking about, we were texting earlier today. This whole Tom Brady thing has like an NBA feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. Like, LeBron, let's get a super team. Let's do this. And people are like flocking over. Everybody wants to play. I'm putting my hand up. I want to play. I want to play for Tampa. I want to get a Super Bowl ring. It's got that whole feel to it, and which I don't think it's the greatest thing for any sport, but it's a reality we're living in right now. So I mean, just the fact that they were smart enough to load the deal the way they did, it's a win-win. I don't think though that Brady was as much to do with Godwin than you think. I think management, I think ownership, I think they like him. He's young. He's a good piece. So I think it was a no-brainer, I think, to keep him, because truthfully, if you think about it, he's young and he's a future piece. So I mean, I really don't even think Brady even had to say anything like to keep him. I think he was the first one you keep, and then everybody else is like, well, if they're still under contract, you keep them. But I wasn't really surprised by that at all. But no, I mean, listen, it is what it is. Tom Brady, but listen, good for you, Cox. He's a winner.
Yes, he is.
Sure is. I'm just glad he won the divorce. I'll say it. Still, yeah. I'm still just glad. Like,
he sure did. That's another topic.
Yeah. Oh goodness. Yaze, what do you think about Tom Terrific being terrific, but not in your division anymore?
Well, I mean, I love that he's not in the AFC East anymore. I've said that for the last year. As with the restructure, though, if I'm a Bucks fan, I'm ecstatic by this. This is a game changer, and it really is. And from what I've read, and I could be completely wrong, they're basically like hedging their bet that they have this 2 to 3 year window to win championships, and then after that, they're going to be in cap hell. And that's fine, and they're okay with that. They're okay with like kind of hedging their bet on what they have right now. And I think Tom Brady knows he has he wants to play for 2 more years is what he's always said he wants to do, right? Until he's 45, mm-hmm. He's been saying for years. So I don't know why we're shocked that he's actually doing it. Yeah, but we've seen this for years. We saw this in New England. He would always restructure his contract to get some more pieces in. The reason he left New England is because they stopped bringing pieces in. So I think I'm going to have to disagree with you, Mario. I do think this is a Brady thing. I do think tagging Godwin has a lot to do with Brady. The reason he went to Tampa Bay was because of Evans and Godwin. Everyone in the NFL was like, yeah, he's going to Tampa Bay. He wants to play with those weapons because it's the best wide receiver tandem in the NFL, in my opinion. And I'm not to fillet you, Cox, but it is. It's the best. It's the best wide receiver tandem in the NFL, and that's why Brady went there. And I think the other reason he went there is to have say in the moves like this, because God knows Bill was never going to let him have say in anything. You know, he was a player. I'm the GM / coach. Cool. So I think I think the Godwin tag. I think that's mostly Brady, but I also think that Arians is a huge fan of Godwin as well. So I think it was kind of maybe half and half, the two of them, not necessarily management.
I mean, I it's something to where, you know, the Bucs drafted Godwin.
Yeah,
it is, from an organizational standpoint, it is a feel good thing to keep him around as long as possible.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I don't think organizations give up on players as talented as him. That's what I'm saying. I understand what you're saying, Jay, but I don't even think it had to go to a Brady vote. That's what I'm saying. We're giving too much credit to Brady. I think it's one of those things where you have that guy, you drafted him, he's that good. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's an excellent point.
Yeah, if I recall, Arians at the parade, they were doing the little speeches, and Arians was like, "You're not fucking going anywhere." To Godwin. So, but the other thing that I'm like into about that, just real fast, the other thing I'm into about that is they really do seem like a team that like likes playing together.
They do,
which is like really cool to see, and I think that helps a lot when you're in this space.
Happier for my football.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Brady legitimately enjoys playing on that team. I really do. And I hate Brady. I still hate Brady. I'll always hate Brady, but it's nice to see him enjoying himself down south while the Pats fans have to deal with a $14 million deal for Cam fucking Newton.
We'll get into that.
I know we'll get into it. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, as far as Tom Brady, I think it was a beneficial. I think it was a good decision on his part. A good career decision. A good. I mean, hindsight's 20/20 because he won a Super Bowl. But yeah, I think it was a good decision on his part.
Unbelievable.
At this point, everything for me is icing on the cake.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I don't care.
No doubt, bro. No doubt.
What, 5-12 next year? You're gonna be happy with that?
Oh, I would be so happy.
I wouldn't hate it.
I think it'd be funny.
It would be funny.
I would love it.
It doesn't matter, bro. It's just icing. It's like November. We're like, bro, what the fuck?
Bro, you've won 3 games.
Yeah. When your icing is dog shit, well, then it's not a good cake anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but your defense will be like, we won the Super Bowl last year.
Remember that time
Fuck you guys, we won.
How many wins did you guys get last year? Oh, 0?
Exactly.
I'm gonna call you out so fucking hard if you turn into that guy.
We know how it goes. We got you.
Oh goodness. Any other thoughts on Brady doing Brady things? Not shocked by it. It's just I'm so concerned he's just gonna like have a devastating injury and that's gonna be it. Because he's getting so old. Like, he takes care of himself and all that stuff. Like, I get it, but
I think the only injury he's going to have is if Giselle hurts him with that snapper she's got.
Oh gosh, that's a groaner for Mario.
Yeah, she wants him to hang it up so bad.
Listen, if you brought me on here to be PC, you brought the fucking wrong guy on here.
No, we knew that after episode 1.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
There's a reason we call you Unk. It's not.
And it don't stand for uncool.
No, it doesn't. Nope. I just no. Nope. I'm just going to leave that at no. It does not stand. Oh boy, you guys. Next up, we have Cam Newton. That basically should be all I have to say. But for those who
to find the Price is Right, you lose music, but I just couldn't get it out in time.
But for those who don't know, the Patriots signed Cam Newton to a $14 million contract to play quarterback in the NFL, which is shocking to me because I think he had only 5 more touchdowns than me, and I didn't play it down. And he's an NFL quarterback on what was supposedly a powerhouse team. I I have a lot of thoughts about this.
Were they not a powerhouse team?
I truly do have a lot of thoughts about this, and I apologize for not leading with Unk yet, but I feel like because this is his division, I have to go to Jay to lead. So, like,
Absolutely. Get it, Jay.
lay it on me.
So we finally know the quarterback to be named.
I would not have named.
Hang on, first, to go off of that, if I may quote the Who, meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
DT, I love it.
So to play devil's advocate, though, I mean the contract isn't as bad as I initially thought. It's $5 million base with the $14 million is all incentive and all incentive.
Yeah.
However, $5 million for a backup quarterback is still it's not chump change. It's not exactly, it's not something you're giving I don't know, who's a career like Fitzpatrick maybe, like
Chase Daniel.
Like well, Chase Daniels made pretty good money too. Anyway, as Cam Newton, I was listening to New England Sports Radio for like 3 hours today just because I needed to hear like all the craziness of the Pats fans. All right. I think like 3/4 of the callers were saying, if this doesn't work out, we're calling for Bill to be fired.
Good.
Crazy.
I'm like, what?
Crazy.
And so like this one particular station I listen to, there's one Jets fan that's one of the hosts, and he's like, I love how Pats fans go through a year and a half of turmoil and they're ready to jump the wagon. Meanwhile, most teams go like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years without a Super Bowl, and they're still hanging tough. So that's just my soapbox. But as far as the actual contract and re-signing Cam Newton, I don't understand it. I don't. I know there's a lot of there's a select few pundits out there saying, well, it's a good deal. It's another year in the system for him to learn and do this and that. How many times have we heard that? It's another year in the system for him to learn. We all watched the Patriots last year. I watched every single Patriots game last year. He's not look, back in the day he was great. That shoulder is just not what it used to be. He can run here and there, but he can't run like he used to. He's not it. And it's an insane contract to give out. And I think really what it comes down to is it's Bill just refusing to accept the fact that the dynasty's over.
Yeah. I think that's
really what it comes down to. I think he's just hanging on to, I was not wrong, I was right. Let's run it back and see what happens.
Well, so here's my thing. So here's my thing. Bill has a philosophy, and that philosophy is you don't pay, I think it's more than 20% of your cap to any one position.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna pay for any of these free agent quarterbacks that are out there, and he's sure as shit not gonna trade for one that is gonna, he's gonna lose assets, and two, gonna have to, pay a bunch of money to anyway. He's not gonna do it. So the other thing in this too is, I guarantee you, Cam Newton had an idea that nobody else on the fucking planet was going to sign him. Name me another team that would have brought in Cam Newton to be a starter.
None.
What he wants. None.
I thought he was going to get backup money. I'm like, maybe like Washington, maybe.
Nobody.
Who knows? Maybe Washington. That's a good point, Jay. Maybe.
But he knows that he's going to start here. Like, he knows he is.
Is he?
I don't know.
I mean, they're paying.
It's really not.
I think that's what he's thinking. What he's thinking.
I think when people saw the 14 million, everyone's already like saying, oh my gosh, ridiculous. But what Jay said, it's really not that insane. It's really not its incentives is 14 million. It's really not that crazy. Okay, so people are taking it for face value. To me, this is really, Belichick is he wants a veteran presence. They're drafting a quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're drafting a quarterback.
They have to.
So they want a guy that is going to push, mentor and push. And if the rookie is not ready, then Cam will go in there. But eventually we will see whoever they draft will start some games this upcoming season.
Yeah.
So
same thing about Stidham last year.
this is Stidham is like, you know what Stidham is. They know what Stidham is. This is Cam's last hurrah. So I think Belichick's saying, listen, let's give him some incentives to come back. I mean, and let's, but it's really not that crazy. It's all about who they draft this year, and they just want a veteran guy in to mentor him.
So let's look at all the bonuses, because I have the breakdown of all the bonuses in front of me here.
Right.
So he gets a per game roster bonus. So the maximum he can earn on that is 1 point. So then there's a whole shit ton of playtime, like a different bunch of playtime bonuses. $500,000 if he participates in 60% of the snaps. $1 million if it's 90%. And then $500,000 if he participates in 60% of snaps and the team makes the playoffs. And another $500,000 for each extra 10% and the team makes the playoffs. So that's a maximum of 3.5. If he's a first or second team All-Pro, $500,000. Original ballot Pro Bowler, $500,000. And then there's postseason things too, $500 for each playoff win where he participates in more than half. 1.5 for winning the Super Bowl, and he plays for it. That's never going to happen.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It's a bunch of these things to where most like they could easily get out of this deal and not pay him much at all, and it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
So you're right. I was more saying that for Cam, he's going into this contract being like, I'm starting.
Yeah.
I'm starting. For the Patriots, it gives them an easy out because they can draft. They have to draft a quarterback at this point. They have to draft like Mac Jones, Trey Lance. They have to.
Yeah.
And then when they do, if that quarterback beats him out in camp or starts to progress better throughout the year, they can easily sit Cam, move on to the new guy, and then they don't have to pay Cam a bunch of money.
And 100%.
It gives them the hedge of the bet.
And it's a win-win. You have a veteran with a headset on talking to that rookie, telling him what to expect. Because listen, I know we know Cam doesn't have anything really left in the tank, but he is a veteran quarterback. He'll be helpful to whoever they draft. So to them, you just proved my point. With all those silly incentives out there, it was a no-brainer. But everybody on the outside, who really the layman out there, is looking and saying, $14 million, how fucking stupid are they? It's really not $14 million.
Yeah, I mean, the point. I think my whole point was not the fact. I think that's why I led off with that. It wasn't as crazy as I originally thought. I think the point that I was making is that Patriots fans are pissed that they gave him this contract at all. That they even are because I mean, say you draft Mac Jones, right, and he struggles for 3 or 4 games, right? Everyone's going to be wanting the backup because the backup's on a struggling team. He's the the most celebrated player in town.
Of course.
And then you put Cam Newton in, and he starts sucking it up like he did last year. Like you put the rook in a hard place, because if Cam actually lights it up, then it's great. If he sucks, then Bill looks like he looks like an idiot. So you're almost betting on whoever you draft showing up, because like I said, those first 4 games, people are going to be clamoring for Cam.
See, I don't think they get at least a premier QB. They're not getting one of those first round guys. No fucking way. Zero chance.
True.
Yeah, I don't know what the assets they have to possibly trade up. Cam Newton? Anybody want this guy?
Yeah. And Jay.
Sony Michel?
Yeah, well.
N'Keal Harry. That was the thing I heard, is they're trying to flip N'Keal Harry for something. And I'm like, for what? Some popcorn?
Exactly.
I'll take him for a bag of chips.
Yeah.
I wasn't actually, when you came out, when you started it and you were talking about the whole deal. No, you actually kind of set the record straight. You basically said it was only $5 million. So we weren't saying that, No, I know. We're saying that. What I'm saying is, when news came out, we all had the same impression. We had the whole, like, we were like, what? 14 million? They love to like put stuff out there like that. And how many New England fans are out there right now who don't actually try to look into things and like try to uncover what's actually going on. They're like, oh, this is fucking ridiculous. Get rid of Bill. Get rid of him. How many of us right now, like, truthfully, out of all the teams, how many of us right now, if Belichick was out there right now, wouldn't want him as your head coach right now? Even if your coach was successful, you would still, that guy is just, come on. We all know. But
I'll go on record right now saying I wouldn't want Bill Belichick as my head coach.
Oh, stop, Jay.
Not right now. Not right now. I wouldn't want him either.
Well,
he has a losing record without Tom Brady.
But to me, that's just ridiculous talk.
Yeah, I know.
Because he's just a victim of circumstance right
That's
now,
like saying, would you want Tom Landry as your coach in today's NFL? His era is over. Belichick's done. He's gone. The Patriot way is over. Everybody fucking hates playing for him. He's not going to attract any free agents with the shitty environment that he brings upon that place. It's done. No, I don't want the guy who's probably out the door in 5 years or less. It's done. Give me anybody else.
That's a bold statement. That's a bold statement, DT. I respect it, but it's a bold statement.
I think
there are guys out there that still want to play for him and like him and know that he's a mastermind. He is a genius. I think that they sold their soul too many times where now they have to face the consequences, which is why that team is depleted the way it is right now.
I don't think a genius of any sort signs Cam Newton to that deal.
He's a defensive genius, but he's been, as a GM, he's been shooting himself in the foot for like the last 3 or 4 years.
And he's paying the price now. He's paying the price.
The thing of it is that a lot of people, like, yes, it seemed like people wanted to go play for him during the good years. How much of that was wanting to go play for Tom? It was having both of them in New England was the perfect firestorm for any free agent to go there, because Tom was the perfect, go-between between Bill and the rest of the team. Tom, was able to keep locker rooms together, because I'm sure Bill on his own probably would have set fire to a few of them. Like, Bill can be tough, especially in today's NFL with what today's NFL players are like. But that's why I somewhat can agree with what DT's saying, that way is over, and he's probably on his way out.
It's like saying you want Buddy Ryan to run the 46 in today's NFL. No, you fucking don't.
To be honest, though, I heard the flip side of that coin, where people were talking about Tom Brady, were like they were fucking sick and tired of his fucking crybaby act, talking about he's yelling and getting in people's faces on the sideline. They were like, come on, it was enough already. But listen, at the end of the day, he's showed that he can still lead a team. I just don't think you don't give up on a coach like Bill Belichick.
Has he though? Has he showed that?
Who? Tom?
No. Oh, I thought you were talking about Bill.
No, I'm saying Brady has shown Brady has shown that he can lead a team still. I'm just saying, I remember where people were complaining that Tom Brady was that crybaby on the sideline.
I mean, he is.
If things didn't go his way, he was in people's faces and yelling, and there were some a little bit of dissension, especially the years where they didn't get it done in the playoffs.
Yeah, winning cures all.
Of course, and that's my point. Is like, what have you done for me lately? Is the mantra of any decade of the NFL and anything. So I don't think you give up on a Belichick, but you're right, DT. Like, his philosophies are a little outdated, but I don't think they're completely outdated.
I don't think he's gonna win another Super Bowl the rest of his career.
That's bold. That's a shot taken a half.
Yeah, I don't
think that's a shot take at all. I don't think he does.
I do. Well, you have hatred in your heart.
I'm very intrigued.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, you're fine. I just think I think we'll have a more informed opinion on where this goes after we see the quarterback they draft, because I do think that signing Cam Newton, because if you're signing him to also be somewhat of a veteran presence to whoever you draft, I think what you want is that you're wanting a quarterback that can do similar things while also being able to throw a football more than 5 yards. So, but like, if you're gonna have Cam somebody, then you're going to want someone who can run, who can evade the pocket, or evade a pass rush and escape the pocket and be kind of someone who can get you that extra 5-10 yards and maybe drop a shoulder every once in a while. I'm saying that they should do that, but that was Cam's style. He would be okay with on a first and goal at the 4. I'm gonna run out and I'm gonna drop my shoulder and get in there.
I agree with you, Cox.
So
I agree. I'm sorry, bud. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. So I look at the quarterbacks that are there, and I'm trying to think of like who in this draft fits that mold. And
the best fits Trey Lance, but he's going top 4.
Right, exactly.
But this is
my maybe Kellen Mond, but he's not thick enough.
I think Mond is more of a project. I don't think there's someone you can just put out there. I mean,
I don't know about that. I don't know. Given his stats and everything and what he did on that team with what they had, I don't know.
But guys, at the end of the day, and Cox, maybe you can relate to this. I don't think it's so much about what Cam Newton as a player does. It's about quarterback IQ. Listen, you have Leftwich. Byron Leftwich is your he's your guy, and Tom Brady he's a polar opposite of what he was. So at the end of the day, I mean, and you can look down the line where look at Jason Garrett has coached plenty of different quarterbacks. I think it's about quarterback IQ. So we don't know what Cam is as a quarterback coach, so to speak.
That's fair.
So I think he's a veteran. So I think they're looking at it like we want a guy. We don't want to just get rid of him and not have anybody because we're drafting a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? They're thinking we're drafting a quarterback. We could either get somebody off the street who's a veteran, but Cam has been a proven guy, and he probably can read a defense and know shit.
See, just to.
Oh no, go ahead, D. Sorry.
Well, I think if you want to do that veteran thing, and you want to that whole argument's great. It's well and good, and it's good because Cam knows the system. That's the only plus I'll give him over what I think they should have done. And if they were going to do that and shell out that kind of ish money for a QB of that ilk, go fucking get Andy Dalton.
Or Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, but Ryan Fitzpatrick has a curse, so he's gonna start at least one game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I'm a Patriots fan, that's fine.
But we're not in that quarterback's room, so he could really be. He could be talking to them, and he might have impressed Bill and said, "Hey, I know this and this play and blah blah blah." And you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying we're not in that room. I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, fair.
And the point I was going to piggyback off of you, Mario, is that from a lot of things that I've read, and this isn't even just Patriots bullshit, is that Cam Newton, even before he was a Patriot, when he was a Panther, he's way better at the X's and O's than people give him credit for.
Okay.
So it would not surprise me if that was Bill's plan to kind of make him like a mentor type deal.
If that's the case, then I got a question. I got to question what the fuck Cam was talking about when he had this interview a few weeks back, talking about how when he got back from COVID, the offense, they move in progressions week to week, but all of a sudden when he comes back from COVID, even though he's been on all the fucking Zoom meetings with the offense and Josh McDaniels, that somehow the offense has now moved like 2 or 3 weeks ahead of him and he was playing catch up. Well, if he's so fucking good at the X's and O's, what the fuck?
I would think he was making an excuse. I think it was just an excuse for his bad play.
I think it's that and the fact that we're not at the end of the day, none of us are in these quarterback rooms. None of us are in these facilities.
I might be.
I'm just going off of what I've heard, and what I've heard is that I can guarantee that Mr. Cat Daddy is not in these quarterbacks.
I think he is.
That's why I was late. That's why I was late to the recording today. I was late to the recording because I was going out of all the quarterback rooms.
The cat's out of the bag, so to speak. He brings Edward with a listening device, and he puts him in all the lets him loose in the NFL facilities.
Kitty Gate.
Back, so I think that's why he knows all this.
It's Kitty Gate.
Yes.
Kitty Gate. I love it. Kitty Gate. I knew it.
Boys, I could shit on Patriots all night, and I know you all can too. But I think
several hours.
I think we can talk about them in the extent of free agency when we transition to that. I will let Cox make a final point.
Yeah, real quick. An interesting nugget from Ben Volen. So Matt Patricia's name was on the Patriots representative that you're supposed to sign. That used to be Nick Casario's spot to sign on contract. So is Matt Patricia kind of becoming more the GM now? Is that going to be someone who's more of a role in that organization now?
That's interesting. I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope so.
You hope so. I'm about to say, Jay, you hope so. Crash and burn, baby.
I mean,
and I fucking hope not.
I mean, he
have a great relationship.
They do, and if Patricia was anything, he was a player's coach. He's probably a good players relation kind of guy.
Right.
You probably want him overseeing that kind of stuff, but I don't think it should morph into anything more than that.
Yeah. And I personally think Bill's looking out that glass window. He wants to retire soon. So who knows? Maybe he's bringing Patricia as maybe the next guy in line. Who knows?
Well, you can take that 6 rings boat out into the water next to Tom Brady's 7-ring boat.
And
fucking Thanos with a hoodie.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, boys, let's move on here to free agency.
Yes.
Whoa.
Things are insane.
We're not going to talk Dak?
I mean, we can. He got paid.
We got to talk. Yeah, we got to at least mention.
I think it falls into the free agency. He did get signed.
He did get paid. Finally, Jerry opened the pocketbook and did the damn thing.
For that.
Yeah, no,
I'm super happy about it.
No, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him too. I think it's well deserved. I know he got what he wanted. He wanted just under Mahomes' money, which I'm a little surprised by.
Mm-hmm.
But he got it. So I think that's important. They're finally hitching the wagon to him. I actually don't hope it works out for them because I'm still sick of 90s Cowboys fans.
Cap hell.
So
no, not this year. But down the line, cap hell.
But again, if the cap goes up, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Go ahead. It's good.
100%.
I'm happy about it.
But I think we should talk about free agency now and kind of start with our teams and then maybe talk about some interesting cases as we go. Obviously, the salary cap got kind of slashed dramatically. And we have seen already and will continue to see mass cuts of insane players. People are calling it massacre week, where a lot of people with good big contracts or whatever, there's going to be a lot of names that are going to fall by the wayside because the money's not right. So there could still be a lot added to this free agency pool. This is all obviously subject to change as we talk about it, but as at time of recording is going to be the context with which that we kind of approach this. I haven't started at all yet with Unk tonight, and I feel bad about it. So Unk, enlighten me on what's going on in free agency with the New York Football Giants and what you think they should do. Maybe if that differs from what you think they're actually going to do, all this other kind of stuff, where they're at. Maybe we can ask Coxie the Cap guy if you want to know where they're at in that space. Give us a rundown. Floor is yours.
Well, as far as where they're at, I know they're in hell, right? But I think they're in purgatory. They're getting there. Cutting Zeitler helped out. It's interesting. I mean, the way the ceiling came down. I would love to. They're working with Solder right now. I think if he can't restructure right now, I think you got to cut ties with him. I'm really worried about Gettleman right now because in the past years, Gettleman has been a restructure guy, and he's actually been burned by it. So this is the year where Gettleman, you don't try to learn from your mistakes. This is the year you restructure. the cap number is going to go up next year. So this is the year you kind of try to get by. You restructure deals, you get the cap money, you do what you got to do this year because that number is going to go up next year. So I'm worried that, you know, he's kind of an old school guy, and I'm worried about it. There's a lot of grumblings in Giants land where, you know, you were just talking DT earlier about your analogy with Tom Landry. Is he out to pasture? Is he behind the times? I'm worried about it. He makes dumb moves, but then he brings in like a Bradbury who he looks great, and the deal to bring in Peppers and getting rid of Odell when people thought it was crazy, but Odell was a head case in Cleveland. But then he does stupid shit. On the other hand, where he brings in he drafts it, he moves up to draft a guy who gets caught up in a scandal, and he's not even on the team right now. So I worry about that. But to me, that's the most important thing is what we're going to do this year to get that cap space. So for me, restructure Solder. If he doesn't want to do it, sorry, don't let the door hit you on the ass. And from what I'm hearing, if he doesn't resign, he's going to retire. So I think really the ball is in our court right now. If you really want to play, take a deal. Listen, you really basically owe us. We paid you a ton of money. You took off last year. Be it that it was it was something, I can understand his son, he had personal reasons. But listen, restructure, you owe us. Okay. We got rid of Golden Tate, another bad signing. He was a shell of himself. To me, my number one priority this off season, I want Golladay. Golladay is my number one guy. We need a playmaker. We don't have a playmaker. We've got Sterling Shepard playing a number 2 where he's a slot guy. He's a complement guy. My number 2, we need to work on the defense. My number 2 guy that I really, really want is Hassan Reddick.
I knew it was coming.
Dude, can you blame me?
No, he ate you guys for lunch.
He's a fucking monster, and he'll totally transform the team. He really would. And if I can't get him, then yeah, take a chance on Dupree. I think Dupree is a guy where I think he can come in, but you worry about the injuries. You worry about, what he's been through. And then in the draft, you got to go wide receiver again. And I would love, I don't think any of the guys like Chase, right? From LSU, it's Chase, yep, or Smith from Alabama is going to be there, but I'll take Waddle. I think Waddle will be there when we pick, and I think he has more upside.
What pick do you guys have?
We have 11.
Yeah, Waddle might. Yeah, I think Waddle will probably be there.
From all the mocks I see, Waddle is going to be there, and who knows? You never know how it's going to shake out.
Yeah, you don't.
But I would totally take Waddle. If not, I doubt Pitts falls because I think there's a lot of mocks that have Pitts going.
I'm loving how you're talking.
I love Pitts. I think Pitts could be an X factor for us, especially if you get a Galladay. Then you bring in a Pitts.
Oh, it's over.
I mean, and then Barkley's coming back. I just think it's
at that point all you need is a quarterback.
I love you. I'm gonna smack you next time I see you.
All right.
Listen, we all have quarterbacks, but at the end of the day, you need that offensive line. And I'm going to tell you right now, DT, we're going to come to you, and I'm going to come back at you.
All right.
If we've talked about this, you don't get that offensive line fixed. Kyler Murray is one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL, but if you can't protect him, he's just a little guy.
You're preaching to the choir, dog.
So, guys, that's just basically my take. I'm worried about the GM right now. To sum everything up, I'm worried about Gettleman, which is every Giants fan is worried about him. He makes great moves, then he makes head-scratching moves. What's he going to do? if we can pull off, in my eyes, Galladay, Reddick, you get Waddle. If Waddle's not there, if Pitts is there before him, you grab Pitts, and I think we definitely make the playoffs. The Eagles are in disarray.
Oh, they're so bad.
Personally, I think the Eagles are in last. They're last in the NFC East. They're going to be last in the NFC
maybe
East.
in the NFL.
Not with Detroit. Not with Detroit still being a team.
Good point, Jay. I think so. I think Washington is on the uptake. Dallas is another one. I think Dallas is either going to be right above the Eagles, but I think it's either Giants, Washington, one or two
Gotcha.
in the NFC East. That's my prediction.
Firm 6 wins next year for the division leader. Love it. Say it with your chest. I feel like Yaz's situation is the most compelling, so I want to wait on him, and I'll go to Cox next.
Fair.
Okay. I want to. So, man, I want to get. All right. Can I?
Oh yeah, go. Yeah, respond to Mario's stuff too.
Because,
I need it. I need it.
Because I loved everything you were saying. So here's what I would suggest. If I were Gettleman, this is what I would do. Because Evan Ingram is a $6 million cap hit, but he has no dead cap money.
Oh,
none.
Goodbye.
Cut him.
Goodbye.
Cut him. Restructure Solder. If you can't again, cut him. $6 million. That's $12 million right there. That's right there. You're about like $3 million under right now.
Yes.
So you can go get Galladay. You could go do that. And then if you can't get Pitts, I would suggest that you go get one of the free agent tight ends that are on the market. Could I interest you in a Jacob Hollister? Could I interest you in a maybe a Tyler Eifert, or maybe a Kyle Rudolph if you really want to backload his contract for do a 2-year with a third voidable? Or if you really want to be bold, I doubt you'd be able to do it, but say you don't get Kenny Galladay, you get a receiver and a Waddle. Why not go get Hunter Henry? Why not?
Ertz is out there too, right?
Have that be your big Ertz? Yeah, Ertz. I don't know if he's
Is he a free agent?
I don't think he's been. I don't think.
Oh,
I think they're waiting to.
They're trying to trade him. Gotcha.
I think they're trying to trade him, but if not, they're gonna have to.
They're gonna cut him. Yeah.
So
I would take him.
There you go. There's so many. All those things that you touched on are perfect. That's the direction the team needs to go. So I love that. I love.
Thanks, my friend.
In terms of the Bucks, number one for me is re-sign Shaq Barrett. I think that's pretty simple. However, if you cannot do that, well, now we have another problem, because having 2 edge guys was integral to our pass rush. I mean, so then you have to go out and who are you going to get? I don't really want to overpay for someone like Clowney, because I don't know what he think, and he's kind of hit or miss. I mean, Judon's out there, but I don't know. I don't know how much Dupree's got left in him. The point being is that I know with Shaq, they kind of did this thing where, they're like, we'll bring you in a 1-year chance and see how it goes. And he's one of the few guys that got franchised not by the team that drafted him, which is kind of a rarity. So they could do that again. My number 2 thing is bring back Gronk.
Ooh.
I really liked what he for that team. He was a much better blocking tight end than I ever gave him credit for. But he still had, in those key moments, the ability to make a play.
Especially the playoffs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, those
unbelievable.
Those random tight end screens. They were just like, oh, we're just going to design a tight end screen to Gronk. Okay, there's 25 yards. And I don't think it can be understated the connection that he has with Brady. We saw that in the Super Bowl. How immensely important that connection was on that second touchdown in particular. Tom went through the progressions, didn't see anything, and Gronk made, kind of that intuitive move to come back inside, and Brady knew he was going to do it and put it right there. So bring him back. It's a no-brainer for me. You got it. You got to bring him back. And plus, they're a huge personality on that team. And I don't know. It's just something that I want. My number 3 thing. I like Ronald Jones, don't get me wrong. But Aaron Jones is a lot better.
Oh, you can't afford him.
Oh, of course we could. Go get him.
Okay.
Go get Aaron Jones. With the 19 million we just saved, if you're not gonna bring back Shaq, then okay, well then the defense is gonna take a hit. We're already projected to draft like an edge rusher.
God bless.
Go get, again, I like Ronald Jones, but I don't think he's proven enough in my mind to where he can be the guy. He worked really good in a tandem, but there were still games where it was like he just doesn't have it today. And it helped to have Leonard Fournette there. Aaron Jones is a guy. He's a guy.
Yes, he is.
He's a beast.
He's an absolute beast. So go get him. Go get him. Obviously, if you can. Like he is gonna command money. And most likely someone's gonna overpay for him because he's at the top end of that second tier of running backs for me. He's not Dalvin Cook. He's not Derrick Henry. He's not Christian McCaffrey. He's not Alvin Cook. He's like he's top end 2A. Like he's right below that class. So, but he can be a complete game changer for that offense. If they really want to, embrace that 2 tight end set, big package, and just smash mouth you to death and work on play action, well, then Aaron Jones is your guy. Do you imagine that team with running Cameron Brate and Gronk on a 2 tight end set and just and going on an outside run and pulling a tackle? Yeah, have fun. You could do you could literally run the same run play, kind of like what they did this year. You can run the same run play over and over and over, and it's not going to. You could call it out on defense. It doesn't freaking matter. You're not going to stop it. I think if they can really invest in a running back and kind of really sink into that play action pass, then I think we have an even better shot at getting back to the Super Bowl this year. So I know that's only my 3rd thing, but I almost feel like it's dependent on whether or not you can figure out the defensive side with the edge rushing and stuff like that. If you can figure that out elsewhere and have to pay Shaq, allocate that money to a running. And I think that's where they got to go. Everything else with the team is pretty set. Like we're in a great situation for this upcoming year. So I mean, if I don't get any of what I want, then I'm not super worried. It's a playoff team regardless. So,
is that in order of importance to you, by the way? That 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, that 1, 2, 3. Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to confirm that. I think
defense is still like the top for me because the defense is what got us and won us the title. So I would still like that. But I mean, if you can kind of maybe balance it out a little more, then I'm not going to be mad at that either. But I still think focus on the defense because the defense is younger and they're going to be for longer. So focus on that.
100%.
So I only have 2 points to Coxey's 3.
Yeah, go for it.
If that's cool with you, Dave.
Yeah, and if you want to rebut on Mario or Cox's stuff at all, whether you agree or not, you can also.
I actually completely agree with. I think Mario had a really fair assessment of his team. I don't really have any sticking points on anything. But for Cox, I think 1A for this offseason is you re-sign Shaq Barrett.
Oh, that was my one.
I know. That's why your point was my only like stickler with like being a stickler for your points is Aaron Jones is doing one of 2 things. He's going back to the Packers because they're trying to sign him within the next 2 days, or he's hitting the open market and he's getting, from what I've heard, reports are upwards of $17 million a year. Are you going to pay that much for a running back?
I'd consider it. It would depend on the structure. It would depend on the structure of the deal. So like you could easily like just give a bunch of a signing bonus. See, that's the thing. Like with a signing bonus, the player gets all that money up front. So what does he care? Like his base salary doesn't matter, I don't think, as much to the player as more as like, are they getting paid now? I think players have a much more short-term mindset, whereas the teams have to think long-term. And I think this is where you could kind of take advantage of that, especially with this year. And when you go to Aaron Jones, be like, hey, yeah, you could go back to Green Bay. That's great. Or you could go to these other places. But this place just won a title, and we're pretty much set up to win another one.
So let me piggyback off that.
I would argue that Green Bay is just as set up to potentially win a title.
It depends. I think they have many more because they don't have the receivers. Like they need to get receivers to help Rodgers, and Rodgers has been wanting that for a long time. I mean,
me personally, I never count Aaron out.
Ever. Oh, I don't. No. Don't get me wrong.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like in his perspective, he's been in Green Bay since he was drafted, right? So like either he signs there for like a okay deal, but if he decides not to sign there, I think in his mind he's like, all right, I'm getting fucking paid, and I think there are teams out there that will do that. I think the Dolphins are one that have been reportedly
absolutely
willing to give him upwards of $17 million a year. I hope they do that because that'd be fucking stupid.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
But Jay, this is what I wanted to piggyback off that. And go
ahead.
A lot of these players, of course, they want to get paid, but can you put a price on a Super Bowl ring?
Well, that was my point.
I'm saying you see these players are all like trying to get on the bandwagon and flock to Tampa Bay right now. They're the it team. Listen, you've seen it. So to me, it's like, do you take max money and go to a team that's perhaps maybe a couple years away or they don't get it? Or do you hitch your wagon to a team and maybe get a little bit less? You're still getting paid, but you're going to get a chance to go to the Super Bowl next year. You can't put a price on that. And there's so many players out there right now that are like, they want that ring. They want that Super Bowl. So to me, I mean, Cox, your team is sitting in a fucking driver's seat right now. And as much as I hate to say it, it's so true. People, and I said it earlier, people want to go to that team to get that trophy. How many players have been out there that are good players that they've played for good teams but still haven't gotten over that hump? Tampa Bay's in a prime right now. If they play their cards right, they're going to be there again next year. And as much as we all hate to admit it, I love you, Cox, but I'm sorry. But it's true, bro. It's true, man. They're right there.
Who was the last back-to-back Super Bowl champ?
Was it New England?
Was it the Patriots?
Back in what? 03, 04 when we were in elementary school,
right?
Like it doesn't happen that. And I'm not shitting on the Bucs in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying like people hitching their wagons. I think these players are smart enough. I think their agents are more importantly. I think their agents are smart enough to realize like, hey, especially for a running back, the average career in the NFL is 2.5 years. That's the average career in the NFL. Running backs have by far the shortest career of any position in the NFL. I think if I'm a running back, I want to get paid.
Right. But again, you can do that with taking a low base salary and a big signing bonus. They get it all up front. It's guaranteed money up front for them. And it's prorated for the team. So they can get like the number can be super inflated. We saw that with the Cam Newton, the $14 million, but a lot of it's incentive. So again, but obviously that's different. But I'm saying like they can get like this huge amount of money up front, and it doesn't hurt the team. So they can pay Aaron Jones on average if you take like the number of total money at the end of the contract in the years. The Bucs could do a $17 million a year deal, but have it be such that the base salary the first 2 years while Tom is there is low, and then it increases when Tom's probably gone, and they're going to lean way more on Jones.
I think that brings back to my point, though, is he's going to not want that backloaded. He's going to want it front loaded. He's going to want that contract front loaded because
but the signing bonus is front loading it. I don't think that's what you're not.
But the signing bonus still counts to the cap.
But it gets divided up amongst the
But they
years. So
spread it out.
Aaron Jones could do
No,
a
I get
two-year,
that, but I'm saying, like, how many-
two-year deal void over like with 3 void years.
Say he
And for
tears
the-
his ACL this year, he's not the same running back anymore, and I think he knows that. I think all running backs
signing bonus is it's guaranteed money.
like if they rate it for the next 3 years.
It's guaranteed money. Yeah,
I do agree with Jay though.
they get it all up front.
The running backs are it's such a gamble. It really is. They take a pounding. You pay and you commit to it, and then they get hurt.
No, sorry. Go ahead, Mara.
No, you're right, Jay. I was just saying that it's a gamble. Good running backs, it's a gamble, and you get a running back. He has an ACL, and it's like holy shit. Then you're fucked, and you just spent all that money. It doesn't matter if it was front loaded or back loaded or upfront money. I mean, it's a gamble. It really is.
So like in your situation, like if Aaron Jones got hurt or whatever, all that signing bonus money is guaranteed. He got it already. He gets it as soon as he signs.
Yeah.
That's
it gets divided from the team after
for the team's cap hit purposes. It gets divided, right?
So what makes the Bucks want to pay him for those subsequent years that he's getting paid?
Because my thing is like if Tom's not there, then you're going to have probably a rookie quarterback that's going to benefit hugely from being able to just hand the ball off. And that offensive line is young and is going to be able to play, and having those selective weapons depending on who's still around. You know, even if you're down to, Tyler Johnson, AB and Scotty Miller, that's not a bad wide receiver core for the Bucks to be touting with a rookie QB, giving him with a decent offensive line and Aaron Jones as your runner.
How old is Aaron Jones? He's like what? Is Aaron Jones like what? He's like 25 now, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He's not that old.
So like for a running back, it's getting up there. Once you hit 30, you're done.
But again, if you want to approach him you could even approach him with a 2 or 3 year deal while Tom's still there, add 2 voidable years on the end of it, then do big signing bonus, low base salary for this year, and have it steadily increase, and then have it be, that signing bonus then for the team gets prorated over the course of the 5, because it can only get prorated a maximum 5. So that's why you're seeing with these voidable deals, they're typically like 2 or 3 real years, and then voidable up to 5. So you do that with Jones. So then that way, when Tom leaves, he can leave. So he's hitching his wagon to Tom for these couple years, trying to win a ring. And then when he's gone, he's still at a point where he can go get another contract somewhere else and still got a big money payday this season. You can do that.
No, I think it can be done. I guess my whole point is that it shouldn't be done. And if I personally was a running back, I wouldn't want that to be the case. I would want.
I love it.
I see your point, but fuck you, so I don't want that to happen.
No. That wasn't my point. It wasn't that it shouldn't. My whole point is that it shouldn't be done. Is that if I'm a running back, I don't want that. Oh, Tom's gone. Now I'm 28, 29 years old. I'm at the end of my career. And I'm the bell cow now. You know what I mean? And like shit,
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. If you make it so like as soon as Tom goes, he can go to free agency somewhere else. You can give him that option. You can even you can make it like a player option. Take it. There's so many ways you can structure a fucking like anyone can sign anyone if you structure it. It's more than that.
I want to know how the Cardinals are doing.
See, I feel like I didn't hear anything at all about the Jets with what Jay was saying.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't.
Well,
Jay was just commenting on Cox. He didn't even have his own thing yet.
Jay, talk about the Jets, please. That's what we have you on here for.
Are you sure?
I have Cox on here for the Bucks. I don't need you also on here for the Bucks.
And your sparkling eyes.
They're pretty great. I mean, I'm not going. Jets free agency, offensive line. Are we doing our? So we're doing our top guy that we want, right?
One, 2, 3.
Yeah, give me like three big priorities.
Joe Thuney.
Yeah.
Joe Thuney. Throw the fucking bag at him. He's one of, if not the best guard in the NFL.
Yes.
Joe Douglas wanted him. Like I remember reports. Last year, Joe Douglas was like, "Yeah, I'm going to give him everything he wants." Like obviously, he didn't actively say that, but like reports that like insiders in the building were like, "Yeah, he's going to throw him whatever the hell he wants." And then he ended up getting tagged by the Patriots. So yeah, Thuney's number one. You know who number two for me is? The center from Green Bay, Lindsey.
Oh, wait.
Mm.
I would love for them to
Beef.
build up that old line as much as you fucking can.
Yeah.
I'd love Galladay. I don't think we get him because I think he's going to want more than Douglas would be willing to spend on receiver. So 1A is Thuney, 1B is Lindsey, and honestly, I'd love for them to sign. And this is kind of cheating a little bit. Will Fuller.
Ugh, please God, don't.
Why not?
He's too hurt.
He's too hurt, and the one consistent year he had, he was on freaking steroids.
Will
Jay,
Fuller.
you guys should sign Braylon from Kansas City. I'm sorry, I had to.
And Jonnu, the tight end from Titans.
Yeah.
Wait, what? You want Jonnu Smith?
Jonnu Smith. Yep.
What about Chris Herndon, the god?
No. Hear me out. Pair him with Herndon in a Shanahan-style offense.
Interesting.
Okay.
So beef up the interior line because you got Becton, who's going to be a great left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
He's been all right. He's been fine in the 1 year he's been with us. But you beef up that interior line and let's draft Wilson and let's fucking go out to play, boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. You want?
And then the did I do a third yet? Yes, I did a third.
So what was the guy that you most want in free agency?
Thuney.
Yeah.
Thuney.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Thuney. If we get Thuney, I'm buying a Thuney jersey.
Yeah. So really, out of all those guys, Will Fuller's your guy.
He's not necessarily my guy, but I don't think we're going to pay the money for Galladay, and I'm not in love with. I don't like Juju all that much. He's more of a slot guy. We have Crowder, who's probably just as good.
Why not go for volume? You could get like Emmanuel Sanders plus.
Oh, you know who I completely forgot about? Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, I was gonna say Curtis Samuel would be a good one.
Samuel's out there too.
Curtis Samuel and Will Fuller. If we sign both those guys and then sign two premier interior offensive linemen, and to me that's a successful offseason.
Now you're talking. Yeah.
Mm. I think that's good.
Well, the thing about Curtis Samuel, and I can't believe I forgot about this because I've been fucking reading shit about him like the last couple months. He fits the Shanahan style offense to a goddamn T because he can do literally everything in the offense. He can run the slot. He can do the outside. He can do the sweeps. He can do everything.
Yeah.
And he's good at it. He just hasn't. In the one year he had the chance was 2019. He blew the fuck up. He was really good.
Yep.
He had some injury issues last year. He didn't put up as much numbers as people thought he would. But I still think he's really, really good. And I think a fallback from I wanted Allen Robinson. He got tagged. That's fine. Whatever. If we can get Will Fuller and Curtis Samuel, that's a win in my book.
I just don't like. You have. I feel like you guys have had enough wide receiver problems with people getting hurt. Like, don't take Fuller. He's just going to get hurt.
Oh, they're going to draft a guy too.
No, I know, but get like Emmanuel Sanders or.
Well, that's the thing. The Jets aren't competing this year. They're going to need a younger-ish guy.
Yeah. I mean, listen. I think you were spot on, Jay. I've been preaching this anytime I can preach and put the pom poms on. Offensive line is the most. It's so important.
Yep.
So. I mean, the better your offensive line, the better your team's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys have pieces at wide receiver, so I think you're dead on with what you want for the Jets, especially whether you draft a quarterback or you keep your quarterback or whatever it is. That offensive line, I mean, that's the foundation. So I think you're dead on with what that team, any team needs. If you have the chance to get a beef up that offensive line like that, you do it at all costs. At all costs. Sorry.
100%. No, it's okay.
Yeah. With 70-ish, I mean, we're going to cut out another 5 million plus. So we're going to be over 70 million cap. There's no goddamn reason that Joe Douglas shouldn't literally throw whatever the fuck Thuney wants at him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
See, I think you're right. And I think you have a lot more bargaining chips than we do. So I'm not putting this on my top 3, but I would also really like Joe Thuney.
I think every NFL offense would want Joe Thuney.
I was trying to figure a way we could finagle it. I don't know if we can, especially since New York. Yeah, New York looks so sexy. He's going to get paid. So I think your head's in the right spot. I think Douglas is a little bit of a whiz and a magician, as we've seen. So I think he's going to cook this offseason. In one way or another. The thing is the thing you said was good, but there's also like 16 other options that could happen that like immediately improve the New York Jets. Yeah. So it's going to be really fun to see what they do.
It also tells you how low a bar they have set.
I mean, fair.
Okay. Anyway, that was unnecessarily.
Well, they were bad last year, so it doesn't.
I know.
Improve.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I think another point I was going to make, and just like my last point on the Jets, because I know I tend to go on and on about the Jets, but is that everything I heard last year was we didn't spend dick in free agency. We had a shitload last year, and every beat reporter was hearing whispers within the Jets organization that Joe Douglas was basically just saying, let's just kind of yeet this year and then spend next year. So.
Yeah, it's a bummer for him. It's a bummer for him that the cap turned out the way it is, but it's still a good free agent pool to try to make some stuff happen with. So I think you guys have a very exciting situation. If we're this is what I want to do after this. I'm gonna talk about the Cards in a sec, but after this, I want you guys to tell me the most interesting franchise to you that's not your team that you're excited to see what's going on with this agency and what you think like the 1 or 2 big moves that they should make or could make, or that you may shot take it and say that they will make. Because I think there's a lot of teams out there in interesting positions who could go a lot of different ways. But for me, like I talked about, I think Joe Thuney would be great. I don't think we get him, so I'm not going to put him on my top 3. And my number 1 is also something that's probably not going to happen because reports are coming out that the GM loves him and the year he had for some reason. But my number 1 is fucking shoot Justin Pugh out of a cannon. Fuck that guy.
I'll send the gunpowder.
Right? Like, so apparently the GM said he had a career year and that he loved him, which is weird. He was touted, and like, to be fair, he played all 16 games. So he was consistent, and he's been touted as a consistent force in our interior line, which is not necessarily wrong. But to pair with that, he had a 65.5 lineman rating in 2020, which is not very good. And he was the second most penalized lineman in the league with 9 penalties. 2 of those, if you haven't heard me talk about it before, were holding in the end zone for safeties in games we could have won. So contextually, I don't give a fuck that he was a good runner, pass blocker 90% of the time. When you physically lose us games, I need you out of there. He's over 30 now. It's all downhill from here. Get the fuck rid of him. It won't happen. It won't happen, but that's my number 1 thing. I'm also heartbroken that Hassan Reddick did not get tagged. I don't know why we didn't tag him. You tag him. I didn't. I don't. That's not a thing. We're talking about what we can do. What we can do. And generally, I'm happy, right? Like, we got JJ Watt. We made a big splash. We've done the thing. So I don't think we need to go nuts. But I do think you get rid of Pugh and you use that money and flip it for somebody else. I love Lindsey. We need a better center. Mason Cole, I believe that's his name. Mason something. Our center I just looked him up and I still can't remember. That's how he was not great. He was probably one of our interior was bad. DJ Humphries played his extension. He earned that extension with the way he played this year. Super happy with him. Our other tackle too, not so bad. It's our interior linemen that again weren't great. Again, Justin Pugh apparently only allowed 1 sack this year, but you allow less sacks when you hold people in the end zone. It's just a fact.
What did Pugh play?
He was guard, left guard, I believe.
Right?
Yeah.
Zeitler's out there. Giants
No.
got him.
I'd say
Just give.
Zeitler's a big upgrade over Pugh.
Yeah.
New York.
I just like get some people. I don't even care if they're like. It's weird because we don't need tackles, but like I love that Alejandro Villanueva's out there. I want him to go somewhere. I would like to have him if he wants to play guard. He's a little big and old for a guard though. So like I don't think we should deal with that. But linemen, get rid of Justin Pugh, free up that cap space, and get some linemen is like the package of number one, I suppose. 1/2, depending on your perspective. I don't think he's going to be crazy expensive. So my number 2, and again, might seem a little Homer Simpson, sign Dan Arnold to a deal. Kyler likes him. He comes through when you need him to. He's not going to blow up your stat sheet, but a reliable tight end is something that's kind of hard to come by in this league. I think he still has a lot of upside. He's like 25, 26 years old. Played well in spots when we need him to. Our other tight end, Max Williams, is a huge cap hit. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets cut. And Mox, for a long time, before he blew up in popularity, had Kyle Pitts coming to us at 15. I don't think he's there anymore. Or 16. 15 is the Patriots at 16. I don't think he's there at that point anymore. I would have loved that. And then I would have said, fine, Dan Arnold, see you later. But now I think we need a guy like Arnold kind of in that spot or else things are going to look kind of weird for us. So again, it's not as sexy as what you guys are saying because we don't have a ton of cap to work with and we've already kind of made our splash. But O-lineman, tight end, I don't even think like the other big thing is like, I don't know why you didn't franchise him. Try to get a deal done with Reddick. I really want him there. And I think it's like an Aaron Jones situation. They're not tagging. They didn't tag Aaron Jones, but they're trying to get a deal done before he hits free agency. And I'm hoping, I haven't really looked too much into it. I'm hoping that's what they're doing with Reddick. Because like I think him with Jordan Hicks, Isaiah Simmons, Chandler Jones, JJ Watt, and Budda Baker on that fucking team. It's going to be real good. I think we go in the first round. Maybe if we don't get O-line help, I think you go O-line. If you do get O-line help, I think you go with a corner because Patrick Peterson's ostensibly gone. I don't think he's coming back, and that sucks. I'm sad. He was a stalwart for so long, but he wants to go to a winner, and he probably wants more money than we're able to shell out. So that bums me out. I do wish him the best, but that's kind of where I see our free agency going. I want to get a deal.
Still under contract?
Yeah, he and Chandler Jones are through like 2025.
Oh, okay, good.
So,
okay.
Yeah, we just paid Budda last offseason. He was the highest paid safety in the league.
Yeah, he's a beast.
And then he earned the contract when he played, so I was like, dope.
Yeah, he's a fucking monster, dude.
Sure is. I'm repping right now.
Hell yeah.
But so I'm glad that our 2 big defensive cornerstones are. I went all the way to like the max cap thing on over the cap. They're the only 2 people we have signed to like the max, like as far as that cap thing will go. So I was like, okay, at least our defensive core is intact for like 5 years.
Peterson, that's on his way out.
Yeah, Peterson's gone. Yeah, he's a free agent right now, and I don't think he comes back.
Gotcha. Do you think he has any left in the tank, Peterson?
He had a bad year by his standards, and
he's not a shutdown corner anymore.
I think he pulls like a Charles Woodson, and like you move him to safety, and he can still be productive.
Do that. I bet if you put him in like a secondary that like has other pieces, like he'll shut.
Yeah, the only reason I asked, and like I said, I'm not trying to. I know we're talking your team, but I was wondering because the Giants sure could use another guy on the other side of Bradbury, and I was just wondering if you thought he had enough in the tank.
I think he's still got something. I don't think he's covering number ones anymore.
No, cover number ones, but that's why I'm wondering if you think he could be that guy on the other.
I mean, he could be. I don't think he goes to the Giants. He wants to go. He wants to go somewhere and win. He wants to win. He wants to get that ring, and he wants to
absolutely.
So I think he's looking to go to a contender, maybe on a bit of a discount, but still pretty high money because he's a vet.
I could see him going to if the Packers
KC
something else.
KC.
Oh, I would say because the
KC's got a rough cap situation, so I don't think.
Clearly the Packers need help at that position.
Yeah, they do.
Him across from Jair Alexander would be really good for Green Bay.
Alexander is so fucking good.
He's probably the best corner in the league right now.
I would say that.
Packers are over the cap, but just cut some people and figure it
out. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. But those are my big things. Get some lineman help. Try to get Reddick back. I know we didn't. I have no idea why we didn't franchise him. I'm very upset. I thought it was a no-brainer, and then we didn't do it. Why?
Because he had one good year. His other 3 years are they're who cares?
Didn't you guys franchise Zach Barrett last year?
Yeah.
After one good year?
Right. But I'm just telling you why a team would do it. I'm just saying that's why a team would do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's different because we brought in Shaq for that 1 year. They've Arizona's had him for 4.
Mm-hmm.
And he's and in 2018 he started 12 games and he got 4 sacks total.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying clearly I think it says something.
Jesus Christ.
How they feel about him organizationally. They think that this was his 1 year. He's gonna get overpaid somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to fall into that trap and franchise him. That's just what I'm saying. That's just I'm whether it's right or wrong, and he could take. I mean, he's only 26, so he could explode and be something great for the next 5-6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, from if I'm in that front office, I look at that and I go, we're kind of in a tough spot because we could see this just being a blip on the radar. So do we really want to pay him franchise tag money?
No, and it's totally fair because we still have a little bit of an embarrassment of riches at RB or at linebacker with Jordan Hicks and Isaiah Simmons there.
Especially since you just and then I think when you brought in, I honestly thought when you brought in Watt, I was well then they're not keeping Reddick. They're gonna let
right.
Because they've essentially replaced that pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
Just more interior, so it's just on the line instead.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Watt's going to play more line.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that point, but at the same time, I think defensively they play 2 entirely different positions. So I think it's kind of comparing an apple to an orange, really.
No, but I'm just saying in their mind, Reddick was a great pass rusher, so with a pass rusher. So do we really need to pay him that money? We can't really pay him for too long. We don't really want to franchise and then have to try and make it a deal. I just feel like it presented more logistical problems with him, given what they did with Watt.
Yeah,
I can see where he was expendable. Once they brought Watt in, he was expendable.
Right.
Yeah, and I think
structure of the contract in the back end.
I think the other big factor, and this is where I'll leave the Cardinals talk, is that towards the end of the season, Simmons started to play more and he started to get the scheme more and he started to really be productive for us. And I think that with the addition of a new pass rusher kind of rendered Reddick obsolete because he was kind of boomer bust. He had 12 sacks or whatever, but 5 of those were in that one game against the Giants. So, and Jordan Hicks, I love that we have him. He's been a consistent force on that second level for those linebackers that has been really good for us. So I think pairing him with Simmons as those linebackers on that second level, with Chandler and Watt and Buddha over the top, I think again, kind of like Mario said, that they're looking sexy as a defense right now. And
they really are. Is Hicks from Philadelphia?
I believe so.
Yeah,
that's where I thought he came from. Yeah, I remember seeing him a lot. He's a great pickup by you guys.
I loved when we got him.
Yeah, he was a monster with Philadelphia. I'm surprised they let him walk. I really am.
Well, I mean, they had Carson Wentz, so
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So I'm happy with that.
On the bill for $35 million this year for a quarterback that's not going to play one round.
That's so rough.
I'll tell you right now, as happy as you are, Jay, that the fall of New England, I am so happy with what Philadelphia has done. I got early Christmas gifts.
Mm-hmm.
That their coach, I don't think is going to be any good. I think it was so stupid for them to let Peterson go. I think the moves they've made, they're going to be in cap hell. I'm just so happy.
Yeah.
I really am.
To put a bow on this though, like our biggest problem last year was our defense not getting stops when they needed to. And I guess somewhat inconsistent offensive play, but there were some games, especially down the stretch, where we're like, all right, we just need one stop and we got a shot at this. And it didn't happen. And I think the addition of Watt is huge for that. I think Isaiah Simmons coming into his own and now getting that role as an LB who's going to play every down alongside Hicks, I think is a huge positive for the growth of this team. And I'm very eager to see what they do when they start hitting the field later in this year. So that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
I like Simmons a lot. He's going to be a fucking monster in a couple of years. I guarantee it.
I mean, he's
The NFL comes out with a NFL swimsuit edition defense. It's going to be the Cardinals fucking. They're fucking Speedos with fucking Watt right there, dude. Like I said, if that was my defense, I'd be happy because you trot them out there and you're proud. I think they're going to fucking kick ass.
I'm hoping so.
I really think so.
That's the goal. So real quick, I guess these are like the big debate questions or whatever, but two things I want to hear you guys talk about a little bit as I prefaced before. Give me another team that we haven't mentioned that you think is in a very interesting situation going into free agency here, and what we're seeing, and give me like a big move you think they make, and whether it's the same or different, give me like a shot take of something you think that's going to happen this free agency.
You broke up a little bit there in the very beginning for me. In the beginning there, what would you say? Like, what do you think a team that's gonna what?
That just has like an interesting free agent who's in an interesting spot going into free agency, and like a move you think they're gonna make to shake up their team, and it can be related to that or not. Give me like a shot take of what you think happens this free agency.
Oh, I got one.
Yeah, go for it.
So the Colts have a surprising amount of cap space. I'm gonna go with Cox, you.
I just don't think it's surprising. Like the GM's a genius.
Oh yeah. So not necessarily surprising, and this isn't going to be a shot take because it wouldn't absolutely shock me. But I do think that I think there's a distinct possibility that they sign Galladay.
I could see it actually now that you mention it.
And just go all out and say, let's fucking win some games.
Galladay, Pittman, Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, Quentin Nelson blocking for you. That'd be sexy.
The offensive line is so good.
100%.
Go next.
Yeah, go for it.
I think Chicago pulls off the heist of the year and they grab Russell Wilson.
You really do?
I do. There's rumblings. I've been reading about it. I think they pull it off, and I think Russell Wilson, Chicago, they have some pieces. The defense is decent. I just that's my shot take.
You're all right. You're locking that in. That's a good shot take. I'm
locking it in. Russell Wilson. I think they're Seattle's posturing, but I think Chicago gets it done.
I think that's much more likely, given the fact that the Bears tagged Robinson. They were like, stick around. We're going to get you somebody, and we're going to try to win some fucking games. I would love that because it gets Russell Wilson out of my fucking division.
Yeah, there you go, bro. It's a win-win.
It also makes the draft pick that we have next year way better.
Yeah.
It's a win-win for everybody.
Everybody wins. Coxie.
Small Adams is bad, so that's even better.
Yes.
Coxie, you got a team that you find quite interesting?
I mean, for a team that I find interesting, it's the Chargers. Like, what do they do? They have like $30 million in cap space. So like, what do they do? Like, I don't know.
Here's what I think.
Chargers are so interesting to me because they're so close and yet so far away.
Mm-hmm. Here's what I think.
Song.
I think other, like, save for the Jets, I think LA. I was. It took me so long to pause because I said San Diego. I said San Diego in my head 4 times.
You used to say LA Chargers.
It's okay, man. Yeah, they're San Diego. I don't.
So that's why that pause was so long, because in my head I went San Diego, San Diego, San Diego, LA.
Fuck you.
I refuse it. I will not say.
But save for the Jets, I think San Diego, fucking, I did it again, is a prime landing spot for Joe Thuney to protect Herbert and go along. They were the worst. I was looking it up because I was lineman nerding it out. Apparently, according to the pundits, Chargers had the worst line in the NFL. Yeah. So getting somebody like a Thuney or some of the other guys that we talked about pining over to protect Herbert, who's your known asset, like he.
Sure, on the line too. I feel like
That's scary. That's scary, dude.
So I think for talking about the Chargers and what I think happens, I think they should go nuts on those linemen. I think if you can wiggle it, get a Joe Thuney, and like, he's older and he's probably not the same player, but get Villanueva in there, get some veteran presence on that line.
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's very good.
But if you want to keep going on the Chargers, you can. I just wanted to bring that up.
I also think they need cornerback help.
Oh yeah,
their secondary is not great at all. Why not go get like Ronald? Like, he's a free agent. He's someone that, like,
it's all right.
Super overpaid for. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, because they have so many. Like I said, like they're so close in so many areas, but then like they're taken so far away and have a lot of holes they need to fill.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about like getting like 1 or 2 like big name guys. It's kind of like trying to like plug your holes with like a bunch of like, I don't know, just quantity. And I'm trying to think of the like guys that like aren't going to cost them a shit ton of money, but at the same time still provide enough balance to where they're going to, it's going to allow Herbert to really shine and get them. Because if they can fill even like half of the holes that they have, they're like a 10-win team.
Mm-hmm.
They're really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
The talent they have is really good. But in terms of my big money move, feeling we might know where I'm going with this, it's Deshaun Watson to the Dolphins. That's what it is. Like,
you think it's going to happen, huh?
I really, really think that's going to happen. I just don't see why Miami wouldn't do it. I just don't.
You've been pining for that for a long time, bro.
They wouldn't do it. It makes the most sense. Because Tua is okay, but you're giving Tua back to the Texans. Great.
So you're guaranteeing that they get their 3rd favorite quarterback in the draft if they trade with the Dolphins, as opposed to trading with the Jets, because they have
the Jets.
Thank you, Jay. 100%.
The Jets aren't gonna the Jets should take Wilson. Like, the Jets
I think they should. Here's the thing. I wouldn't be mad either way. I think getting Wilson would be great. I like Wilson a lot. I think obviously he's not Trevor Lawrence, but he's 1B. He's not 2. He's 1B. But as far as like what I think will happen, if Joe Douglas thinks he can get Deshaun Watson, I think he fucking pulls the trigger.
No.
And what looks more enticing to a team that desperately needs a quarterback?
Joe Douglas builds through the draft. That's his mantra.
We have not seen what his mantra is yet. We haven't seen it. He's had one draft. I know GM speak. I know everyone's saying, well, the GM said this and they do that.
Go through the draft. Do it. Because Zach Wilson, you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay him nearly as much.
I agree. I'm just saying.
He's not going to Miami.
I don't think so.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense for him to go there than anywhere else, and it makes the most sense for the Texans.
Cox, I love your conviction. I really do, and I know you're stuck with that, and I appreciate it and I respect it. but I just think they tanked for Tua. And after one year, not even a whole season, the guy didn't even start a whole season.
No,
they're going to totally put their asses out there. They might as well just put billboards up of the GM and everybody in their underwear in fucking Miami, right down the fucking strip of Tampa, all the way down the coast, and just say, "Hey, we're fucking idiots." They're just not.
I disagree.
I'm not going to show you, Cox, but I have a couple points, and one is that Tampa, fucking, I'm on Tampa just because.
I know. That's because I said Tampa. I said down the coast. Down the coast. My fault.
So Miami played one of the easiest schedules in the NFL last year and still missed the playoffs. Yes, they won 10 games, still missed the playoffs, right? They're not great in cap right now. They're not awesome.
They're doing just fine.
What do they got, like 25, 30 mil?
That's
it's a lot better than last week.
33 million. Yeah.
No, I get that. So they trade for Watson, right?
Okay.
And then they have what? $4 million to spend to surround him with what? What weapons is on that Miami offense that entices them?
Devontae Parker.
Yeah.
Mike Gesicki.
He's been fine.
He's been good.
Okay, bring him his stats. How good has he been in his career?
Bring him up.
Pull it up. Well, I'm going to say I'm with Cox. Not like as vehemently as he is, but I think what do you like, for argument's sake, let's say Miami takes Devontae Smith at 3 and I don't know, fucking Najee Harris with that later pick. Does that make them better than getting Deshaun Watson?
I would say no.
That's why I think it makes sense for them to make the move.
I think, and this is back to my point, I think it makes sense, but at the same time, I think, and I know Cox is going to disagree with me, I think if that's the offer, I think the Jets take the fucking bait. I think they go, yeah, let's get a quarterback. And Cox, I don't think that Miami's skill players are as good as you think they are. I really don't. I just don't think they are.
But they're
at the end of the day, go ahead, Cox. I'm sorry.
No, they're a more balanced football team
for 1 year. The Jets went 10-6 in 2015, and then the year after went 4-12.
It's a
1 year wonder.
No, it's not, because you started seeing the Miami Dolphins defense and everything come together at the end of 2019, and then they brought it into 2020. You've seen Brian Flores bring that team up. That team is buying into this system. All they needed last year was a more competent, stable quarterback. That's all they needed.
But they didn't give him a chance. He's only played. And at the end of the day, it's going to come down to GMs have pride. They don't listen. You know, and I know that GMs at the end of the day, GMs don't like to admit that they're wrong at the end of the day. So if you picked a player, if you tanked for a player, if everybody's saying they tanked for Tua, do you think they want to just come out and say, "Oh, I was wrong"?
I think that's it. So hang on there, Uncle. Let me go.
He's got a point.
Because I know this from direct experience, Mario. We traded up a couple drafts ago to get a quarterback, number 10 overall.
No, you're right, and that's
Josh Rosen.
Yeah, that was a rare occasion. Rosen was not touted as highly as
they called him Chosen Rosen.
No, listen to me. No, there was rumors about Rosen. No, I'm not wrong. Because at the end of the day, Rosen there was things about Rosen, about his work ethic. People were worried about his work ethic. I was surprised that they even picked him when they picked him.
No, but people were worried about Tua's hip. People were towards injuries. Look, I looked at every article in the NFL for months, because that was the draft we took, Sam Darnold, because I knew we were taking a quarterback. DT, what quarterback did I want at number 3?
Josh Rosen.
I wanted Josh Rosen.
So bad.
I wanted nothing to do with him.
Well, now hindsight's 2020, Mario.
The NFL said
I don't want nothing to do with that Ryan Leaf character.
There were rumblings about his work ethic.
DT's making a good point because every single draft pundit in all the draft circles said that Josh Rosen had the highest ceiling of any quarterback.
But what I'm saying is, how much of a chance did he get to play? This whole he didn't play a season, he didn't get his chance thing is bullshit by that same logic. Because if you haven't, look, can I please just like get this out?
He's gonna waffle.
Yeah. Because there's something to be said for the people who are in that organization day in and day out. Like for a while, I was like, why is Rosen not playing? It's because they're not seeing what they want to see. It's the same questions with Tua. Anytime the game was on the line, you swapped him out for Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's got to say something.
Yes.
Okay, but I'll be honest. I didn't watch a lot of the Miami games, AFC. Can any of you guys tell me you watched a lot of the games, and was it because did Tua have the protection? How's the offensive line on Miami?
It was fine.
Yeah, they're not good.
It was fine.
They're not. So you're saying they're not good, and you're saying that it was fine.
They were.
They were fine. Like his thing. Like they did design boots.
Come on, man.
Shit.
I watched three games, and Tua was getting pounded. Every time I watched, Tua was getting pounded.
All right, so Cox, I'm like kind of leaning towards your side now, but don't sit there and tell me that the Miami offensive line was good because they weren't.
They
weren't fine. They were bad.
We're not.
That's why they put Fitz in because Fitz is a mobile quarterback that could move the pocket outside.
Are you insane?
Oh my God.
You insane? Tua is supposed to be the more mobile guy,
but he wasn't because of the hip injury.
He was more mobile than Fitz was. We had more boots and shit for Tua.
Listen, at the end of the day, we're gonna find out if he goes to Miami, then you were right, Cox. At the end of the day, the proof is going to be in the pudding. I don't think it's going to happen. That's just my take. My 2 cents. That's my 2 cents.
My thing with your whole it's an admission of that's not right either. Because Deshaun, you can sit here and go, okay, well, whose ceiling is higher? Tua's could be here, but we all know Deshaun's ceiling is way the fuck up here. So
that's why the Jets shouldn't trade for him.
If you have but Zach Wilson's ceiling could also be up here.
It could be. But also, my point is, it's a proven commodity versus.
I know, but what you're paying for Zach Wilson and
I get that,
distributing that money elsewhere. Again, it goes back to my thing of build the team around.
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't work out, then you can go buy a quarterback.
I'm semi agreeing with you because I'm starting to, and like I said before, I'm starting to lean towards your opinion and that we should draft Wilson and just build.
You should as soon as.
No, I know. But my point still sticks. Of my previous point that we've talked in previous podcasts is that we already have the proven commodity of Deshaun versus the ceiling of Wilson.
So listen, if you want to go from there, I'm still in agreement, and I haven't changed my stance that you keep fucking Darnold, and you just build that team like you were saying. If you get those guys on offensive line like you really want to, I think Darnold can take you to the promised land.
So
if the free agent class wasn't as stacked as it was, I would say yes. But just buy offensive line and get fucking Wilson because Wilson's by all accounts.
My guy.
Yeah. See, so what are you doing? So the fucking wild roller coaster of Jay's emotions during this argument has been insane. So I need an answer right now. Do you want Wilson or do you want Watson?
So you're saying, gun to my head, would I rather Jets trade for Deshaun Watson or draft Wilson number 2?
Yeah.
Gun to my head, I'd still rather have Deshaun Watson.
That's fair. See, I could tell that's where you were at. My other thing was, do you want Deshaun Watson for your team or do you just not want Miami to have him so fucking bad that you're willing to make this deal?
It's beautiful.
two things can be true at once.
Here's my whole point is that Deshaun Watson would be the best quarterback in Jets history.
From day one, probably.
Probably. Yeah.
Jay, let me ask you a question.
And,
Jay,
and the other thing is, like, I'm not talking shit about Joe Namath because my boy. Different era, man. Different era. But statistically, he would be the best quarterback that the Jets have ever had.
Yeah.
Statistically, he would be.
Jay, can I ask you a question? Is there any part of you that believes that if you can keep your assets where you don't have to draft a quarterback, you don't get Watson, you keep Darnold, but you take all those assets and you build that team around him, you really don't think that he can do something for you? I'm just wondering, is there any part of you that can see where if you put the weapons around him and you build that line, me personally, I think he could do it. To me, that's the smart choice.
I get that. I've watched every start of Darnold's entire career, and I watched a year and a half of his college career. I just don't see it. I think he'll be at most a Alex Smith fine starter somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll win you a few games here and there. He's not gonna win in spite of your team. He's gonna win because of your team.
And that's your team, and that's, I know you watched every game.
And look,
I did watch.
I love Sam Darnold. I think he's a great guy.
And I've watched his games. I've seen him roll out of the pocket and make throws that not too many quarterbacks in the NFL can make.
But for every one of those throws, he makes like 2 or 3 backbreakers.
It's one of those things where both sides would benefit from a change.
Yes.
Jets would benefit from a change, and so would he.
And but Jay, how much of those bad decisions you've seen Darnold make, how much of that is an attribute to Gase?
Oh no, I've seen, and it's not even Gase. I saw it even his rookie year before Gase, and and I'm tired of this like same old argument that's like, oh, it was all on Gase. Look at Tannehill. Tannehill had better numbers by far under Gase's offense, by far. Go ahead and look him up.
Okay, but Tannehill had to go to Tennessee to be a really productive quarterback.
It was a more balanced team.
He's still at
Yeah, true. And that's what I'm saying, a balanced team. So do you devil's advocate, do you take all your assets and you build on a quarterback who's really hasn't had a chance to even scratch the surface?
Sam's still insanely young. We got to remember.
Thank you. And he was ruined by Gase. He was ruined by him. And you ask anybody, they'll tell you. Even your buddy Joe Namath said he was ruined by Gase. This guy did not have to call a fucking play.
I just think, and Jay, correct me if I'm wrong. It's one of those things where the fan base is pretty done.
Yep.
And as soon as they could go 3-0 with Darnold, but that fourth game, if he goes like 1 touchdown with 3 picks and costs them the game, they're going to turn really fast.
I disagree with that. If they went 3-0 and they lost 1 game and they were 3-1, I think
I don't know. I feel like
the fan base is really behind them.
I don't know. I feel like as soon as he starts making mistakes again,
I don't agree with that.
Probably turn on him.
Boys, I know we could all talk about the Jets all night, but we're over 2 hours, and I need shot takes out of you guys for the offseason or for the free agency.
Goes to Miami.
All right.
Okay.
Shot takes for the offseason?
Well, yours is Wilson of the Bears, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir. Wilson to the Bears.
Cox is Watson to Miami.
Yep.
Yaze?
Yannick Ngakoue to the Jets.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's
spicy.
I like that.
So I didn't mean to take your word.
Played under Saleh in his first couple of years. So yeah,
That'd be
Yannick
good.
Ngakoue to the Jets.
Sweet.
That'd be a great.
Interessante. Gosh, what do I want to do? I hadn't really thought about this, which is terrible because I just implored everybody else to give me theirs.
You did too. Guys.
Well, we just did like 25 minutes on the Jets. We didn't actually get
a Jets filibuster. Totally.
We didn't even get to like the other things we were going to do, but we got to put a bow on this. What is, oh God. Let's say, all right, I'm going to get weird.
Do it.
I'm going to get real weird.
I love it.
Kenny Golladay to Jacksonville to team up with Trevor Lawrence.
Oh yeah, hell no.
I can see that. Even vehicle to cap space. Why not?
Yeah,
I wanted to go to a winner.
I mean, they got Trevor Lawrence coming in. Why not?
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
If you can catch, that's what I think he might do it, because he can also get, like, if he's just looking at money, nobody can give him more money. So it depends.
Galladay, nice.
If they're trying to change that culture, I think that's the change you make over there. Because I think Chark's still under contract there too. So you got Galladay and Chark with Trevor Lawrence, like,
or whatever his name is, they drafted last year.
Laviska Shenault looked good. And freaking that rookie RB, Robinson was really good. You add Galladay to that mix, that team actually looks pretty fucking good.
Yeah. I'm changing my shot take. Minshew beats out Trevor Lawrence. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, dear.
That'd be wild. How dare?
Like, all right, so everybody say thank you, Mario, for coming out this last fucking podcast with us.
I'll drink a fifth of vodka. Just rapid fire if that happens.
How dare you guys?
Hey, if you ask Minshew, he'll fucking tell you, I'm fucking gonna beat him out next year. That fucking guy is intense.
I love Gardner Minshew. Do not sully the good name of Gardner Minshew.
Dude is intense. He really is. He's an ace.
Yeah.
He is.
I like him. Gardner Minshew to New England. Book it.
I wish.
Fun.
That'd be so fun. That'd be so fun.
I think Alex Smith.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. Fuck it. Oh, guys, this has been a pleasure. It was good to get back on the horse with y'all. We went for 2 hours, so I think it's safe to say we had enough to say. I'm sure this week's going to be insane with cuts and signings and stuff. So I don't want to set it in stone, but all you lovely listeners could pretty much, I would say, look forward to hearing us again next week, talk about whatever nonsense that unlocks. I think like tomorrow is when like the door opens or something, or in like 2 days. It's like very soon.
Monday is when they're going to start negotiating. So
things are gonna get weird, and we appreciate you guys sticking around, especially if you listen to all 2 hours of this. And we will see you. We love you dearly. Anybody who decides to pop in. We hope your teams do well in free agency, but not so well that they beat our teams. If you are the Seahawks, trade Russell Wilson. It's a good idea.
To Chicago, so I can get my shot take.
But we love you guys dearly. We will catch you on the next one. We missed you.
Peace out.
Have a great rest of your day.